Hey guys, welcome back to Sports Spectrum. We are here on Radio Row here at Super Bowl 57, and our guest today is Jason Vanderground, who is the president of Haven Creative Hub, and he's one of the men helping lead the He Gets Us campaign. If you've been watching any football over the past, I would say, couple months, you might have encountered this Jesus commercial that pops up in the middle of these games. I saw them in the conference championship game as well. And it's talking about Jesus, and the campaign is titled He Gets Us. And I think a lot of people are seeing it, and they're like, what the heck is that? That's amazing. For me personally, as a believer, I thought, this is incredible. I even turned to my wife, and I'm like, did you just see that Jesus commercial pop up in the middle of a football game? So I wanted to get Jason on. He's here at Radio Row, and really just learn a bit more about the campaign. And I know there's a lot of plans, Jason, around Super Bowl 57 itself. First of all, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. Tell me how the idea of He Gets Us even started.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. So it started with this problem statement like almost 2 years ago, so March of 2021, and it just came to us, and it was like, how did the world's greatest love story become known as a hate group?
Yeah.
Like, how did we go from Jesus saying, hey, people are going to know that you're following my example by the way that you love and treat each other, by the confounding forgiveness and mercy that you demonstrate to other people? Like, how did we get to the point where people felt comfortable saying, no, I think God hates you because of the difference that we have together?
Incredible.
And so, it was that problem statement, and then it was the idea, could we use media to help reverse that trend? And so everything that we do, all the ads that you're talking about, everything that we do in the Super Bowl, there's two goals behind what we do. So one, increase the respect and the relevancy of Jesus in our culture, to do it in a massive way. And then as we do that, to call up Christians to reflect the example that we see in the Gospels of how Jesus actually treated and what he taught us it meant to treat other people.
So this comes March 2021. But to really come to fruition, and you know this, if you're going to advertise during an NFL game, forget the Super Bowl for a minute, there requires backing, there requires funds and money, and obviously all of that. When did you start to see that coming together where you were like, oh, we have some investors here or some donors or whatever that might look like, to be able to really make a dent and get a lot of eyeballs to be able to see this?
Yeah, so we get that call in March, and then we set out on this quest. We did 5 months of research, just doing nationally quantitative studies, talking to the American people and asking them about a whole host of things. Your faith, what do you think? Jesus, culture, what issues, just to really understand them well. And then it was that fall that we came up with the idea of He Gets Us. And then we did a test campaign in 10 markets, and one of them was Dallas. And we start running ads during a Dallas Cowboy Washington Commanders game, and we look at the website traffic, and it's just spiking, like the number of people and the number of things being done, and we're like, something's going on with these football games. Like, look out for Sundays. And that's what started it, with like these regional regular season games.
Interesting.
And we're like, there's a convergence here with live sports.
Smart to do it on a Sunday. A lot of people who go to church, maybe whether they're believers or not, maybe they have, faith on their mind. The Cowboys, also smart. You got the biggest eyeballs every year on the NFL games are always Dallas Cowboy games. And to see a spike like that must have meant, wow, okay, something's going on here. So now talk us through the idea of the Super Bowl. Like, that's where we are. And I know He Gets Us was able to figure out a way to have some commercials appear during Super Bowl 57.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
So, so last season we had great success with all these regular season games, and then the playoff comes and we didn't have a huge play there. And we were like, why, as the momentum builds in the NFL season, what if we just ran the table? What if we kept putting the biggest influencer in history on bigger and bigger stages as the NFL season went along? And so for this season, we were like, let's do the Super Bowl. Let's go big. And it's been powerful because I think once you're with the NFL as an approved advertiser, and then you invest $20 million to have 2 spots in the Super Bowl, people go, okay, that's big. That's going to be something big. And so everybody's paying attention, from our audience to even Christians are like, we're about ready to see a clear message of Jesus presented in the Super Bowl in a way we haven't in a long time. And the NFL has actually had a prohibition against religious advertisers in advertising for the last several years, a number of years. And we've had a great relationship, though, with them as they've looked at the content and said, we're not getting like a lot of blowback from fans. Fans are actually saying like, this is an encouraging message we want to know more about. And so it's been a great partnership between He Gets Us and the NFL.
Well, you humanized Jesus too. I think we all look at him as like Lord and Savior, this big religious figure, God's son, and then you put him on this commercial for you guys with He Gets Us, and you realize, wait, Jesus understands anxiety. Jesus understands sadness. Jesus understands the struggles that each of us have kind of on a daily basis, and that must have been intentional, right? Like, there's not a lot of conversion in the sense of, you need to follow Jesus in order to have him as your Lord and Savior and, receive salvation. There isn't any of that in the message. It really feels like, Jason, that it's just focused on the humanity and who Jesus is.
Yeah, and eventually it would be great if people got to all of those things.
Of course.
But from that research, what we understand in our faith journey for somebody who is spiritually open but skeptical is they first have to get over this respect bridge. And so, as you and I sit down and start talking, we're looking for commonality. Respect, mutual appreciation for each other. We're like, we have some similarities. Let's do something together.
Yeah.
That's the same way that people need to process Jesus. And so if you just come out and say, He was God, or if you quote John 1, the Word was with God, and they're like, I don't know what any of that means. It must mean something to you. It's really important. And so we're just starting with that respect and building a relationship like we build any of our other relationships, and going, let's take it slow. Let's give the person who's spiritually open but skeptical a lot of agency and control, because it's their faith journey. And so let's make all these things available. And the number one thing that people do when they come to the website is actually sign up to read the Bible.
Wow.
And
really?
so,
I was going to ask you, what's the response in terms of, you're always trying to be an on-ramp, right? As they say in the marketing world. What's the next on-ramp if people say, okay, I saw the commercial, go to the website, now what?
Yeah.
People are signing up to read the Bible.
Yeah, well, and maybe because they don't have to talk to us in order to do it. You can just be anonymous and read a piece of content, which a lot of people are like, I'm not ready for that. Like, I just want to read it and consume it and process some things on my own. I don't even know what questions to ask yet.
Yeah.
So we want people to, even that you're looking at the website right now, but just to be on there and to be looking at the articles and some of the trending stories and checking out the videos and just looking at different aspects of his life. Our brand is essentially biographers for Jesus, just telling stories from his life, relating them to modern life. Maybe they go on and they get a piece of free gear, and it's like, but you can't pay for that t-shirt. You cannot buy that t-shirt with money that's on the website. But if you agree to forgive somebody, then you can have the t-shirt for free, not for money, but it comes at a high cost. And we've had people write in and say, this water bottle I got because I agreed to forgive somebody, and then they tell us a story and we just go, wow, that's not like I forgive somebody because they cut in line. That's like, that was pretty deep. And so those are the little moments that we're trying to create for millions of Americans, that they would turn back and look at Jesus and go, you know what, there's something about this guy that is so confounding. And as Jesus followers, we believe that he was fully God.
Yes.
But he was also fully human. And sometimes I think as believers, we skip over that part pretty quickly, and we'll say things like Jesus is God. And to the skeptic, they go, I don't even know what that means right now. I'm not ready for that. And so it's just out of respect to them that we go at their pace. It's what they're interested in. But yeah, reading the Bible is one of the top things that they do on the website.
So this is an interesting time, I think, as someone who has followed Christ for 22 years almost. I was 27 when I began a journey with the Lord. I'm seeing now over the past, we'll just say a few months, but you can go back a couple years, The Chosen comes out. And you see 400 million views or whatever, and it's blowing up, and people are watching it who are very similar to the kind of audience that you just described with He Gets Us. Then you see the Damar Hamlin situation, the unfortunate but then amazing situation with Damar Hamlin and the Buffalo Bills, and how everybody's praying and everybody is rallying around, and Dan Orlovsky from ESPN is praying on national television, and you see sort of an openness to faith and to prayer. And then the He Gets Us commercials are also going on out there, and I'm thinking, I don't want to call this a revival. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe in 10 years we will look back and see it. But it feels like this is a time when He Gets Us it feels like the right time. Like God has presented this at the right time, like with The Chosen, like with the Damar Hamlin situation and prayer and an openness to gospel conversations, faith conversations, prayer conversations. Do you sense that now that the campaign's going on for the last few months, as a lot of people have seen and watched these commercials?
I hope that that's what's happening.
Oh gosh, me too.
Because you look at all of these things and it's like they seem to all fit together kind of well, like you're saying.
Yeah, there's something going on. That's all I know.
There's something, and from our research is we talk to people who are spiritually open but skeptical. So we're not talking to Christians in this research.
Sure.
We're not talking to even people who are like, oh, I'm kind of a casual Jesus follower. But no, these are people who are like, I'm not. I'm spiritually open. I'm open to a conversation, but I am not in any way whatsoever. And when you talk to them about their perceptions of Christianity, there's three main things that come up. And it's unfortunate that these are the things, but they see it as hypocritical.
Yep.
They see it as discriminatory. Like, it's not for me. Like, I kind of got the sense it's for certain people, but not for me. Like, Jesus didn't really invite everybody to the table. He didn't really have those dinners with all of those people.
Sure.
And then just the judgmentalism. That idea of like, no, God hates you. I'm right, you're wrong. God loves me. God hates you.
Yeah.
And Jesus never asked us to be like that. He never gave us that job. And so I think what people are seeing is when you go back to Jesus and you go back to this value system of seeking peace, loving, welcoming, approachable to all, skeptics really wrestle with prayer. But in situations like that, I love what Dan did. And even watching the game is we're not sure if somebody is going to survive or not. You run out of words to say after a while. And I think people go, you know what? A prayer like that, where you're pleading for somebody's life or you're pleading for them to get better, like, I like that kind of prayer.
And then he got better.
So
the miracle happens, and you can be a skeptic all you want, but to me, it literally took something out of anybody's hands. We had the doctors and the first responders who totally saved his life, but God intervened there. I mean, the man died twice on the field and had to be resuscitated and didn't know if he would live. It was touch and go for a couple days there.
Well, and I think that the prayer, and especially the way I heard Dan talk about it, it was really respecting the wishes of the Hamlin family, and they were saying, please pray for our son.
Yes.
And then to see the Bills say, please pray for DeMar.
And the NFL,
and then to see every single team change over their social media profiles and go, we're all praying for you. We love you. We're all in this together. I think there's something to that. There is a lot of commonality there. And certainly we have differences on issues of morality and issues of theology.
Sure.
But kind of in Christianity, what happened is our main basis of relating to each other is now over moral issues. David French was teaching me this. We did a podcast together, and then he's a writer for the New York Times.
Sure.
And he goes, what you guys are doing is you've taken the biography of Jesus, which we kind of haven't been paying as much attention to. What did he do? What did he say? Where did he go? How did he treat people? What did he teach us about what it means to treat? You kind of made that the first thing. And instead of just morality, which there are important issues, there are important conversations, but for us, for the brand of He Gets Us, we're just focusing on the stories from Jesus' life and then relating them to modern life and going, He gets us. And that's why we have confidence in Him, because the Bible tells us that you can be confident as you pray because the person you're praying to went through every single thing you do.
That's right.
And you did. And so we're trying to just outline all of those examples for people with the campaign.
It's really good. He is Jason Vanderground, the president of Haven Creative Hub, helping lead the He Gets Us campaign. You can see it on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm excited to see the ads come up, and I'm excited to see the response. If you are listening and you want to check it out, maybe you haven't even seen these ads yet, go to hegetsus.com and check out everything that's going on there. Hegetsus.com. As a media ministry that we are at Sports Spectrum, and our goal is always to keep Jesus in the sports conversation. I love that He Gets Us is trying to keep Jesus in the conversation, and I think what you guys are doing are fantastic. So I appreciate you. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for what you're doing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
keep it up. Appreciate it.